Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. This is where we were, side control. And then what we did in the last class is that where we left off, we were bringing him this way, right? And we were doing it a couple of different ways. Some of them he was recovering. You could do this a couple of different ways. You can be here. And remember, this was different. I said in the last class, all you had was this grip, right? And you force this. You could force it by bringing his chin down. You can force this by putting your knee on his rib and driving it down for him to come up. A couple of different ways, or in the last class, how I described it is you just landed in this position, you go to grab some control, and his first reaction is to start bridging away like this. So I told you in the last class to face him, drop, catch this elbow, and then we went into these rotations on here. We went darsing, we went darsing. From here, we punched this thing through, caught it. I told you that we kept this grip. You ran around, you attacked this arm on top. And then lastly, I told you this hand was too tight. So then you decided to go for a guillotine. And it was a windpipe choke, not a blood choke, where you turn this thing over and you sat and then you pulled up and then you threw this leg over the top, right? So that's where we left off. How about we go the other way, okay? So the other way is going to have different angles on this, right? You're going to be like this, and he's over here, right? And you're like this. Right? And if you understand, like, hey, I don't really want to hold you. I really would love for you to try to escape. And so I know in the beginning you want to put so much pressure on that you want to physically muscle this man into positions. But then you start to realize there's always going to be somebody bigger and stronger than you, and you can't do those things, right? And he's the bigger, stronger player. So I'm here, and I'm allowing him to either turn into me that I can start grabbing on and start attacking, right? So if he turns in, I'm good to go, right? But I want to play this game, and we'll play it at different angles, okay? I want to catch him and go the other way, and we're going to do it a couple of different ways. If he knows nothing, right, I can just grab on, right, one thumb grip, so I'm just doing a Y wedge at his wrist, and I'm grabbing onto the other one, and I'm pushing out the rear delt, right? So as I'm pushing it out, only cared about one thing, that's a very weak muscle. And I already know if you turn in, my hands are already going to drop to this elbow. So I'm fine with you turning this way. I'll have multiple options if you turn this way. So I'm not going to force you into anything. I was going to force you to turn away. So now I'm here. So I had one goal. I wasn't going to muscle you into anything. I just want to attack the rear delt. So I'm going to start pushing this thing out as aggressively. If I got to start coming up with my back lines, I'll push it. But as soon as it lands, okay, if he knows nothing, obviously we go into Americana, but I'm going to say, hey, come on, he's a little bit better than that, okay? So he's not going to lay there dead duck and leave his arm like this, okay? He's going to come and protect that arm with this hand. Because if he lays dead duck, then he's going to give me the arm, and now he's got an issue that when I come, let's say I don't catch the kimura, now he's got an issue protecting, and as I come up, I can start flaring this, catch this over the top, and now I'm on the attack on the other side, right, with a head and arm choke, or a mounting position, because now I'm going to get this elbow higher than your body, or I'm going to attack an Americana on that side, okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do is just drive it that way, but catch it, okay? I'm going to ask you, if you can, to land in an arm bar position, because I'm not going to give you a chance to reset your hands to a kimura spot. I'll explain what I mean by it right now. When you go drive this, right, and I'm here, and at this point, I'm going to start trying to lace, but he's going to come up, right? And he's going to come here, and I'm going to go like this, right over the top, right? So it's the same position on the other side, right? The one that we were working on this other side, there's no way he can stop this leg coming over. So as I drove and I saw him turn to bring this hand up, I'm coming for this arm. So this arm's going to have different looks too. Might be here, but he's going to come to protect because I'm owning his wrist and his elbow. So when I come over the top to go into the same knee pinch, I'm staying up this way so everybody could see. I'm coming, and my hand position is going to have two looks on this. I might be desperate for an attack right now, or I might feel like I'm really good at arm bars, and I'm taking this, right? So what I mean by that is that if I let go of that elbow too early, he's going to leave me and come to turtle too quick, right? And then what's going to happen is if he's buried too tight, I got to open up this pocket to start taking this hand. Now he's going to come up. And then I got to sequence it later to understand how I attack him once he comes up. We're not going to go there today. But what's going to happen is as I come up this way, I got an easy chance to bury this guy long underneath. But that's not a kimura, right? Because, and now, you know, I got reprimanded a long time ago. I tell this story because I better not because they recorded me, so forget about it. That's, all right, so I just remembered about that. Okay, so just know that two of the highest level players in the world did it from this position. So I thought it worked, and those two did it and finished in ADCC. So the reason I bring it up, so people always thought you had to do kimura and then finish it like that. No way. I just want to control this arm so I could reset this leg to bring it through. So when I brought it to this point and I got insertion, the only thing I want to do is just own this arm. So the right away, I'm just going to collect it and flip my feet back this way, right? Because I'm good to go now and take this leg over the top, and now I'm here. And now I start flipping this grip. My first reaction is to take this elbow and blade it to this side because I want to come in here. I don't want him hitchhiking. It's not the end of the world if he does, right? Because I can control this hip, or I can take this to an omoplata when he comes back. I can follow the line again, but I'm controlling this at this point. But you can't stay here, right? Because when you land, you're like this. So you have to do your best to shove this to the side, because at some point when I flip this to come through and then try to catch it like this, or you can, the problem is that you don't want this elbow on this side, because then he's going to hitchhike on you. He's going to turn too quickly and he's going to come up over the top, and now you got to flip this to an omoplata, right? So you don't want to be there. So you're like this. You're in a reverse set, right? So I do my best to hold this position and shell this to the side so that I can let go of this hand and come deep on it. Stay right there, hold this position. So now I can come deep, but I got to shell this guy over. So do your best to shelve the position to that side. Otherwise, you got a hitchhiker. I don't know his level of escape on that, but I have to be super aware of it. I'm owning this at this point on this look. So I can always lift it this way, but it's hard to finish and get a separation on these hands. So I cover them and I start blading them as deep in the pocket as possible. I want my hand position to fight his hand position. I'm not doing this. I'm not owning this elbow on my chest, and then they'll do it like this. You'll come in here, and they're supposed to pull this way and then come like, are you crazy? Like, you have so much separation here. You need this thing here. You need this thing here. You got to fight this grip. That elbow shelved, and I'm nowhere near that elbow. I'm going to break that elbow over my hip line anyway that way. That's the fundamental rule, is to put that elbow on that hip line. So why am I doing all of this? Why am, like, you're supposed to hold this way, and now you got this big separation. He's going to spin out on you in 2 seconds. Okay, and now he's got this grip that you can't separate, and you're hanging over the top like this. And you're trying, no way. I want to be bladed where my head's over his spinal cord. And now when I bury those hands, I'm coming up the center line on that. So I'm not going to let you separate. Like, I don't care about your elbow yet. I care about separating this grip first. So now I'm in here trying to blade these things, and I'm taking these things apart. But I'm also biting on that thing down there. So if I understand, if in case you shoulder roll on me, you hitchhiker, that I can follow it. So I'm going to ask you at this point to take it 3 different ways that way. Okay, I just showed you this grip. Okay, you can do this grip. Okay, I slide my shin on his face, unfortunately, right? And as I push down on his shin, I come right here anyway, right? And I shoot it through again. Now I'm on the grab, right? And now I'm flipping back again to throw long again and take this leg out. Okay, you could do it that way. You could do it this way, right? I was here, right? And I'm going, oh boy, I should not accept this at this point, okay? Because now he's got a frame and he's pressing me away, and now he's recovering the shin, right? So I take my grip and I flip it, right? And I flip my grip here and I flip my grip here, and now he can't do that, what he did before. Right, so before, when I was like this in a side control set, this is like this. I'm like this. And now he goes and bridges that way off the top, and he brings this elbow line in, and that's knee elbow escaping. That's the first set of knee elbow escaping. So I'm not going to keep that side control grip, because then he's going to bridge against me and bring this in. So I was here. So I flipped my position here. Okay, and now I go north-south. And now his hand position was here. So now I just go on the inside of this, and I bury this thing down, but I hold a position on the elbow. This guy, sometimes you're going to be here, sometimes you're going to be here, but I don't let go of this. So I have to understand how I'm gripping it once I come. So you're still coming up left or right, because Once you come here at this 45 where I flip my hand position because he bladed in on me, right? Or he bladed in the other way. I just don't, I would prefer that you go 45 if he drops this because you're going to be here. And now I'm like this trying to pick this guy up, and that's a different insertion, the one that, on the backside wedge. And I'm like this, and he's making separation. Like, I better flip those lines anyway this way because this guy's got to grab onto this, and that guy's got to be over there. So I got to understand like how this progression goes, okay? So you got 3 different ways to do it, right? One is, and you can do this from north-south. You're here like this, and now I'm jumping up and I'm going, okay, I'm figuring out which way you go. You think I'm in a bad spot? I don't think so. I'm going to force this issue because what's the worst case scenario? I drive this thing, I collect this. What's the worst case scenario? You go back this way? No, turn the other way. Okay, so I drop this and I spin to the back or I catch it early. I know in the beginning you feel like you got to be so tight on this guy. No, you don't. I want to catch this guy. I want to make him turn. But if I understand how the storyline turns and how it plays out, like you know how he moves. He's had no magic. He's had no magic. So you can take this a lot of different ways. I showed you 3 ways, okay? One was where you push it out, right? One was where you bladed it. One was where you switch your hand position and you put your shin line right in here if you don't want to be nice. And now you drop your shin. So now you're setting to go left or right. You know the outcome. Even in today's class, yet we were doing all those back spins to the back side. That's why I had you do them. So if you weren't here for the drilling class, let's say I come in here and I go vertical and I start dropping my knee line on that shin and he's coming up and I go, that's that flip we worked on for a past hour, right? So now you can go, okay, I'll take that right now down here when you come up on me, right? You would have beat him on that turn. You would have had one of those insertions. If you didn't have one of those insertions after doing 1 hour of that, we were late. You fell asleep, okay? You were watching the commercial and not watching the, so you can see how I want to go with it, okay, guys? So let's do any one of the 3, and then in later part of it, the people who are in the drilling class, I want you on that north-south driving that line and then hitting that back quadrant on it on the backspin, okay? So if you weren't here for the drilling class, don't worry about it. Let's just keep it simple to the 3. If you were here for the drilling class, ask him to spin it on you. So when you're here like this and you're going, no way, dude, I'm forcing this issue. And he's coming up the turtle, I'm going, okay, back here again. And I'm on his back line either here or the throw top, and now I'm here catching this. So now it looks beautiful to watch. So you're like, wow, that was nice, right? So let's try to partner up. Let's do it, guys. Let's rock. Thanks, Dave.